The Fort Worth, Texas breakdown is here, and that's Tier Elements taking a lead, where in some other regionals, Tier hasn't even made an appearance. Don't make 30% if you guys have not smashed the little crap out of the subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the regional breakdown here. So your breakdown on your screen here, while Sprite did have a pretty dominating force in a lot of other regionals here, the one in Fort Worth, I believe it was 356 players. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I remember seeing online from a few people here. So we had Tier taking the absolute lead here, placing 3 of them things into top 8. I mean, the regional was won by Sprite, and second place was Sprite, but you know what? I'm happy to see a relatively heavy turnover here for Tier, which means that players are innovating, players are experiencing new things with this. And, you know, we're still in week 1 syndrome here, where players are, you know, trying to adjust their strategies, trying to figure out, like, the optimal go-to ratios for these particular things. So for them to work out in terms of those numbers, understandable here. Now, we also had one punk deck make it into Top Cut as well. I remember when people doubted the ability of punk. I mean, hey, they just got a Pot of Greed card, which means deck should be relatively good. You know, Pack definitely laid a lot of the groundwork for this deck that we're starting to see for the overall conversion right now. So I'm very happy to see that. So good stuff. And we also had a pure branded deck. You know, branded definitely seems like it would be better with a slice of Tier Elements in your strategy. Nah, you can just boot up old format, you know, put in some Dark Ruler No Mores, you're basically good to go at this point. I think the most interesting thing out of this Top Cut, though, was the Rikkas Sun Avalon deck that made its way into Top Cut. You know, a lot of people have looked at, you know, Rikkas post lists, and they're like, oh, you know, it's layer control, it's really good. I believe that this is the only Rikkas deck that I saw all weekend actually perform out here from, you know, Top Tier Gaming. So I'll leave a link down below to Top Tier. You guys can check them out for a more in-depth profile, but we'll talk about the list here in a sec. Let's pass on over to those top deck lists, shall we? None other than winning the regional was Sprite! Yay! Now, the biggest thing I want to talk about with this is you're seeing like a debate start here with these decks. Do I want to play the Dark Ruler No Mores, or do I want to play the Talents in the main? And I actually like seeing Talents in the main. Don't get me wrong, like, there's an application for both Dark Ruler and this, but okay. I also see down here that we're playing Dino Miskies. Wow, and they got some chicken nuggies here. We also have the Gammas inside with the driver, and we're sighting in Solemn Judgments in case something kind of goes sideways. There's also like an argument now for wanting to play triple Sprite Elf, which I guess is an interesting thing. I don't really know how I feel about that. And there's Hulk. His entire purpose in life is to bait out a hand trap so you can make the Sprite Elf and extend on out. You'll love to see it. Outside of that, it's very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, our IP play is to make the Unicorn here. Or, I mean, I guess you can try to make the Axis Code Talker during the opponent's turn. Doesn't always work out. Next up was second place Sprite. Yay! What do we got with this one? We got some cross-out designators in this bad boy, which is fine. Alright, I see that we played the Nimble Beavers. You know, it's actually funny because some copies of Nimble Beaver are more expensive than some copies of Deep Sea Diva. So, you know, either or, if you want to play Diva or the Beaver, it kind of just comes down to what you want. I mean, the sad thing with Beaver is he's not a tuner, so you can't do the Hulk play off of it, but take note of that. We're also playing 2 pots for digging. Honestly, outside of that, hand trap ratio seems very optimized as well. I do like the Veiler for the Gigantic. And then stack them up on the Zeus, baby. And then IP into the Nightmare Unicorn play. Very standard stuff here. I don't see anything that really catches my eyes too off guard here. Like I said, over the next couple weeks, you're going to see all these Sprite lists blend together, and you're just going to be like, so much of the same. Next up here is our punk list. Now, we have triple Gizmek here. We have the triple Super Poly built into this, full Interruption Ho, and then good old Garuda. You know, I think they designed this card with the intent of having this format not be such a crapshoot, I am going to say here. Also, Punk Amazing Dragon here being a 2-of feels really, really nice. This card has been going up in price for a little while now. You might want to keep an eye on it, but this is still the modern toolbox equivalent for synchros. You know, they're still pulling out the best resources that they can. They have Pot of Greed now, and of course, you have all of the board breaker cards that you could, I guess, really hope to see. Does 48 cards feel bad in a deck like this? No, I really don't think so. I think either way that you should be good to go and be able to board break pretty much no problem with this. So overall, not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. I definitely like what I'm seeing here. All right, next up here is our first tier elements list, packing in a whopping 60 cards, ladies and gentlemen. Holy crap. Now talk about just massive power scaling here. Toolboxing. You know, you got skill drains, you got mass change 2s for Dark Laws. Like, this build is going to the extreme of what it wants to. You got one King of the Swamp. Talk about just good stuff deck. Alright. Plus, you basically got like that baseline packaging here to make sure that, you know, you have the Despia stuff to kind of carry you. So for all intents and purposes, we wrap this up into like the tier pile of things, because you are still using, you know, fusion based strategies to kind of do your thing. But man, oh man, just the best of the best packages out here, getting the chance to kind of take you off and try to land you a spot in Top Cut. You love to see it. I think this pilot piloted this very, very beautifully. Next up here is our pure Despia deck for our pure branded deck for Top Cut here. And does this just look like a massive time capsule or what? Like, this duelist took straight their old strategy, said, you know what, I'm just going to dust off the old super polys. You know, we got Garuda. That should be enough to board break certain decks. We also have Dark Rule No More, so we can go ahead and do our thing with that. Okay, so the rest of what we're going to do here is we're going to take the Predaplant package. We're going to pull for that consistency that, you know, we're very used to having in terms of the strategy. We're going to pull it off. Extra fusions always feel really nice. And then, of course, you know, you have Branded Sword down here as well, and Banishment to give you the extra pushes you need. And it's not like you won't have DDVs as well that you'll just randomly be able to get to. I love the fact you can trap trick for either one of these. That is absolutely beautiful and quite hilarious. I actually hope that these did resolve to get some free chicken tendy wins out here. So good stuff for top 8. All right, next up here is more tier elements. Now this one is quite interesting because we're playing a little froggy package here in this deck, which means you want to expedite the process to make a Hulk. You want to be able to make Sprite Elf in your deck. Honestly, I look at Sprite Elf as a card, and I think a lot of people are going to look at this card and kind of have the same initial thought. It's a very powerful card for the revive effect. All right, you know, Gigantic Sprite seems to be like the better lead according to like a lot of players, but like, don't underestimate a once per turn quick effect to revive, because it's really good. I mean, hey, you get a free rank 2 onto the field 2, or a, you know, link 2, depending on what your opponent has up, if they have anything at all. So this card is actually very, very scary what it does. Also, 1 copy of Galaxy Cyclones. We actually finally have something of value here to show for, you know, all the hype that's been building up on that. And then next up here, we have our Rikka list. Now, like I said, please check out Top Tier Gaming Yu-Gi-Oh! Down below for this, because they did a pretty good in-depth review for this. Now, the main thing that makes a lot of the Rikka stuff good is this amazing card. Con, if you control a Rikka monster, you can set a Rikka spell or trap card directly from your deck to your spell and trap card zone. And then you get locked into plants for the rest of the turn, which, okay, man, sure. And then you can only use this effect of Rikka Con once per turn. And then once per turn, if you attribute a plant monster you control to activate a Rikka card, or if I contribute any one face of monster your opponent controls, even though you do not control it. Thank you, Konami, for giving plants a layer of darkness type effect to, you know, tribute your opponent's stuff. Rikka Queen out here, very much enjoying the new little free chicken tendies. But outside of that, the extra deck feels pretty good. I think in terms of like toolboxing for plants, this is a good step in the right direction. And then ninth place out here was another sprite list. This was from Team Space City Slayers out here. And I actually feel bad seeing ninth place here, but you do get the chance to see that we are playing the Punk package in this deck, so you can expedite the process for none other than Baron de Fleur or, a Herald of the Arclight. I know a lot of people initially, like, I don't want to play the Punk engine in my deck. You got people out here playing the Adventure package, capitalizing on the value of it too. Like, you have no reason not to give these particular cards a shot in your deck as, like, free extenders, because they feel really, really good when they go off. Trust me. Alright, I'm also happy to see a pointer of the Red Lotus down here, seeing a lot of extra play this weekend. So, good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That is your Fort Worth, Texas regional breakdown. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of the subscribe button. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later on the day, guys. Stay safe out there, alright? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.